Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2021 animated mystery thriller Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1.
Does he always keep you waiting like this?
He'll be here.
Hey, well, I'm doing the best I can here. It's been a busy day, but I promise I will do this review as thoroughly and as quickly as I possibly can for you. Now, this is the second Batman movie that I've reviewed for this channel. The first one was Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, and it's also only the second animated Batman movie I've ever seen. So if you're new to this channel, I'm reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes in chronological order. Once I've reviewed them all, I will rank them from worst to best. That means, of course, this movie has a 100% fresh rating from the critics. It has an 88% fresh rating from the audience. I thought this movie was thrilling. I thought it was exciting. I was very happy to see that there are villains in this movie that I recognize. There are villains that are very popular Batman villains, and it was very exciting to see. Like I said, this is only the second animated Batman movie I've seen, but I've seen all of the live action Batman movies. At least I think I have. At least all of the mainstream. Maybe there were more, but all the mainstream live action Batman movies. And this is probably up there with one of my favorites. To be honest, I just thought that this was a fantastic movie. Now, Jensen Ackles, who does Batman, I have never heard him do Batman before. I thought he did a really good job with it. I would also like to shout out Naya Rivera, who did Catwoman. She tragically passed away due to a boating accident, I believe. They dedicated this movie to her at the end. Very fantastic job. I've always liked the dynamic. I'll say I love the dynamic between Catwoman and Batman. It's almost like a Professor X Magneto thing to me, where they are very friendly with each other. They can have these really cool interactions with each other where they're almost like playful. Unlike Professor X and Magneto, they actually have some like flirting with each other as well. And then at the end of the day, though, at the sort of the end of the movie, they realize that they have these differences and that they can't actually be friends. Now, throughout the movie, she helps him. She really doesn't. She's an integral part of helping Batman kind of do the detective work around what's going on in Gotham City during this movie. So he plays a young Batman, and I think if you don't realize that in the beginning, they kind of hammer that home in the middle of the movie, where he says like he didn't know that being Batman was going to be so much detective work, and he doesn't know if he was up to it, which to me makes me believe that this is a younger, newer Batman, kind of just coming onto the scene type of thing. So there's this gangster named Falcone, and he has a gangster family. His son is part of this gangster family called Alberto. Now, Alberto is his son, and he is very, disappointed with Alberto. He's not kind of the cutthroat mobster that he wants Alberto to be. Alberto's someone who graduated college, and Falcone thinks that he's better and smarter than everyone else, and he kind of holds a grudge towards him, and he treats him like he's not really his son. So, Falcone, his nephew is murdered on Halloween in the beginning of the movie. Originally, they think that it's this guy. They think it's someone, and Batman does this investigative work. He works with Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon to try to figure out who did this murder. Well, at the same time, there's a lot of other members of Falcone's gang that are being murdered, and it comes out that it's this unknown person named Holiday who's murdering them all. So Batman needs to try to figure out who Holiday is, but at this point in his career, he's not a very good detective, so he's having a hard time piecing clues together and figuring out what's going on. Now, Harvey Dent's character is someone who is trying to clean up the city. He's trying to capture Falcone. Throughout the movie, they think that maybe he is Holiday. Maybe he has some sort of grudge against Falcone, where he is so determined to get him and to lock him up and to have vengeance on him that he's willing to murder all these people around him. There's also a scene later in the movie where they through the help of Catwoman, they find a large warehouse with all of Falcone's money, and they decide to burn it through a flip of a coin. Harvey Dent flips a coin, decides he's going to burn all this money, and as retribution, Falcone's gang blows up Falcone's house while he's in it. Now, I thought that this would be the scene where he becomes Two-Face, because I don't know anything about the comics. I'm assuming that the different comics and the movies, he becomes Two-Face in a different way, because I think that the Joker becomes the Joker in a different way throughout the different movies and the comics and everything. So I wasn't sure if this is how he becomes Two-Face, but he comes out of it fine. Like, he doesn't become Two-Face at this point. His wife, who was also at the house at the time, Gilda, I believe is her name, she also survives. Now, Gilda is someone who seems to not like the fact that Harvey Dent is so committed to catching criminals and so committed to cleaning up the town, because he focuses all of his time and energy on this, and she feels like she doesn't get any time with him. He's very insistent that they're going to have children, but she seems to be physically unable to have children, and she brings up a lot that she doesn't feel like she has anything to do throughout her day. She feels like she has no purpose in life. And he says, well, we're going to have children one day. And this really strikes a chord with her, because she's not able to have children. Now, of course, he brings up the fact that they can adopt and that they can do other things, but it feels like there's some sort of tension brewing between them a little bit, where she feels like her life has no meaning. And I don't know if that's going to come into play later. I have no idea, because I don't know anything about the Long Halloween, so I don't know who Holiday is, and I want to watch the second, because they don't in this movie, at the end of the movie, they kind of give their argument for who Holiday is, but then it completely blows up in their face when he gets when this person gets shot and looks like seemingly dies. So, and that's kind of how it ends, on like a cliffhanger where you don't know who Holiday is, and Batman is telling Gordon and Harvey Dent that they have to protect the city, and they have to really kind of watch what's going on throughout the city, because they don't know who this person is. I want to know. I was so like into this movie and into the storyline and into what was going on that I want to know who this person is. So I might have to watch the second one. The second one is 100% fresh. It just doesn't meet all the criteria for this list, in which you have to have at least 20 critic reviews in order to be part of my list. And I think it only has like 14 or 15. But I do want to watch it. Maybe I'll just watch it and throw it on here anyway. But besides Catwoman, there's also, I think Calendar Man is his name. I'm not familiar with Calendar Man, because he's never been in any of the live action movies, I don't think. So, not familiar with him. There's also Grundy, who I'm also not too familiar with. And then, obviously, Harvey Dent and the Joker. The Joker, so a movie where you get the Joker and Catwoman in the same Batman movie? Like, how can that not be spectacular? How can that not be great? The Joker is amazing in this movie. I thought Catwoman was going to be my favorite villain in this movie, just because of the relationship that she has with Batman. But the Joker, he comes like halfway into the movie, but he is absolutely hilarious. Everything he says, I thought was just hysterical. I was laughing so hard at what he was saying. Brilliant. His lines, his dialogue, the whole script in this movie is written so well, but his character is just so good. I absolutely loved every second that he was in this movie. And he's such a big movie villain. Probably considered one of the greatest movie villains of all time. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker definitely, did him a service. If you didn't like the Joker, and if you didn't know who the Joker was, based on Jack Nicholson's portrayal of, maybe you're too young, you didn't see Jack Nicholson's performance, and you were just being introduced to Batman, and you saw Heath Ledger play the Joker, I mean, that really catapulted him, I think, to new generations of people who likely would not have known who he was. But definitely, that continues here. He is so good in this movie. Probably the best character in this whole movie for me, just because of how absolutely hilarious he was. The animation in this movie is also fantastic. It's a dark Batman movie, which I think everyone will agree that dark Batman movies are better than the movies that we got with Jim Carrey and Arnold Schwarzenegger and those atrocities. Jim Carrey wasn't bad, I will say, as the Riddler, but those lighthearted, trying to be funny, goofy type Batman things definitely I don't think will ever fly ever again with the community. I say that as if I'm part of the Batman community. I'm part of the Batman movie community, like the live action community, but I don't think that'll ever fly again. It's got to be dark Batman from here on out, and I think that they did a really good job here. I really enjoyed this more than Return of the Joker. Return of the Joker, there's also, I'm trying to think. It was an older Batman in Return of the Joker. He was kind of like at the end of his career type of thing, and they were trying to usher in a new Batman, like an understudy type person, whereas this one is like younger Batman, which I thought was a lot better. I really enjoyed the writing in this movie. Like I said, it was exciting for me to see villains that I actually like that I actually love. And to see Catwoman and Joker in the same movie was absolutely spectacular. So there were parts of this movie where the detective angles of this movie. I mean, some of it was a little slow, a little bit. I mean, I can't say that I like fully understood everything. Maybe I understood it, but it didn't really intrigue me throughout the entire movie. But that's just nitpicking. I mean, this movie is spectacular. It is of the two animated Batman movies I've seen, this is the best. Voice acting was great. Script was written beautifully, and it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like this makes me want to watch the second one. I need to watch the second one at some time just because I want closure as to who Holiday is. Now, I'm assuming that if it's got this kind of build up to it where it requires a sequel, that maybe it's going to be like a well-known villain that hopefully I know who this villain is. My money's on Harvey Dent, but I don't really know, because how can Harvey Dent both be Two-Face and Holiday? So maybe it's not Harvey Dent, but I don't really know who else it would be at this point, because the person I thought it was the person that Batman thought it was, but he is no longer alive from what I can understand. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope the second one is. I hope it's not a letdown. It's going to be hard because I have such high expectations for it that I feel like it's just doomed to fail at this point. But yeah, I plan on watching it. I think this is a 9 out of 10. Really good animated movie. Really excited. And I loved it. 9 out of 10. Hope you join me next time when I watch a horror movie. There's only been like 3 horror movies that have been 100% fresh so far. And this is like either number 3 or number 4. So it's a big event. It's a big ordeal. Because I don't think there's any more. I have 20 movies left on my list. There were 255 movies on my list that were 100% fresh with at least 20 critic reviews. This is number 235. I have 20 left, and I don't think that there are any more horror movies except this next one, which is Slumber Party Massacre. So that'll be next. Thank you. Hope you have a great day.